Welcome back to this final interview of the first day of Streaming Media West 2019. I'm Tim Siglin, contributing media. Boy, it's the end of the day. Tim Siglin, contributing editor with streamingmedia.com and founding executive director of the not-for-profit Help Me Stream. And today I've got with me June Heider. June, your company is RealEyes.
That is correct.
And remind me, what's the backstory on the name? Because I think we talked about this or maybe I talked to David, your partner, on it.
You probably talked to David.
Okay.
And the
So what's your
backstory.
version of the backstory?
Well, we got to start more in immersive multimedia experience.
Okay.
So my thought, this is my hypothesis, is that RealEyes had something to do with that when David, was first doing all the shockwave stuff and the flash stuff back in the day.
Stuff, right.
So yeah.
Sure. That makes sense. So what does RealEyes do today?
We're bespoke application developers. We very highly focus on advanced, complex streaming challenges.
Okay.
So whether your team doesn't have the skills to make those things happen, or whether you just need some extra help, we come in, we can build things from scratch, we can integrate some of the best of breed tools, and then we also do some strategic consulting as well and have a little bit of IP on our own as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. So application development for what platforms?
So what I like to say is that we do everything but creating the content from the camera.
Okay.
So platform-wise, we actually kind of run the gamut. We do desktop, we do mobile, we do set-top boxes, we do Fire TVs, and we do iOS and Android. So yeah, pretty much across the board.
Okay, interesting. And what are there sort of consistent challenges you have as you move platform to platform that you've had to solve, and is that where the IP is derived from?
Yeah, potentially. I think, just based on an engineering perspective, one of the biggest challenges is how do we kind of go across platforms and keep architecture consistent, but also, adhering to whatever best practices are available and made known on those platforms.
Okay.
Another one is definitely automating QA. That's huge, especially when you're talking about things with remote controls.
Okay.
So those are the really big challenges there.
Do the whole virtual machine containerization approaches, Kubernetes, Dockers, does that help you as you move, say, operating system or device to device, or is that too abstracted and you need to sort of go lower in the stack?
Well, the one thing that we have to consider, and maybe down the road we may find that solution in those containered systems or VMs, is just display and also the emulation of that particular platform.
Okay.
We've always found the best success. We'll use a little bit of browser stack, and then we also from time to time do use VMs, but often we use actual devices.
Okay.
And we also use the emulators within the browsers and things like that. So.
And are you able to use sort of consistent IDEs as you work on different integrated development environments, as you work on different platforms, or do you have to use sort of the best practice for each of those device types?
So when you talk about IDEs, it's pretty much everybody but Apple.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, we share the same. We really like VS Code.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the IDE of choice at our company.
Got it. All right. Nice. And same thing on your SVNs and that kind of thing. I mean, ultimately, Apple is off to the side, and you're sort of dealing with your software versioning across all other device types?
I mean, as far as versioning, we take a pretty similar approach across platforms.
Okay.
If you're talking about an actual version control system, I mean, we use Git across the board.
Okay, sure. Git makes perfect sense. So what are the challenges that you see in the industry, say, over the next 12 months? Because I've asked a number of people that today, and I'm really wanting to focus not on just where we are today, but where do you see we're going with this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges is as we continue to rebuild to where Flash used to be with video streaming, DRM.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big challenge.
And Christopher Levy talked a little bit about the lifecycle chain, and really what he was talking about was sort of the vulnerabilities at different points in the supply chain, and making sure that there's encryption and DRM in place in those. Do you see, because you run the gamut, do you see potential exploitable points along the way?
Yeah, I mean, think about token auth systems where they have, a certain amount of time where you can actually access the content. Think about not encrypting things at rest. Think about not actually having an encrypted, tunnel between endpoints. So there's a number of attack vectors.
Interesting. Okay. Well, June, as always, quite interesting to talk to you, and appreciate you wrapping us up for the end of the day. And we'll be back tomorrow with our first interviews. Thank you.